Kohberger's past is what he was studying, criminology, and who he was studying under at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. Dr. Catherine Ramsland, a serial killer expert who had a close relationship with serial killer BTK.
Did your dad influence him? Did your dad talk to him? Like, was he studying my father outside of academics?
His desire to dominate women because women had humiliated him, and his desire to be famous. So his fantasy life is what propelled him. He was thinking all about these things and imagining himself as one of those elite serial killers.
Hello, Grizzlies, and welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Xana Kernodle, and today we're going to do some serious deep diving on the Maptime based on the probable cause affidavit that was released in the Idaho case, and the suspect being Bryan C. Kohberger. So, yesterday we had a members and patrons only stream, and for 2 hours we were deep diving this map and just figuring out, wait a minute, like plotting everything and figuring out exactly where he went according to the PCA. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be really nice because we're going to do an entire map time that I filmed for you. And then Mr. Grizzly will be joining us and showing us the footage that he filmed for us as well. If you've never seen him, that would be my husband, Mr. Grizzly. He has, in the past, in other cases, filmed some aerial footage for us so that we can get a good aerial view of this. He's done it in this case as well. So I hope that you enjoy that as well. Thank you so much, PT. Welcome to all patrons, members, of course, moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you, everyone, for being here on a Sunday. Okay, and welcome to all the new members. And as always, I'll pop super stickers and things like that on the screen, but I might not be able to verbalize it as to not interrupt the show. So the first thing I'm going to do before we get started, okay, is just because I want you guys to understand the map time when we do it like properly, so you have a good visual. So get out your Grizzly notebooks. And for yes, Steven's asking, I'm South African living in the Netherlands, for anyone wondering. Okay, so first we do a presentation time, okay? And if we look, this is from the probable cause affidavit, okay? So I've just put it into a presentation for you, so it's really easy to understand. Then we'll do that map time. So first, get these timelines in your mind, okay? On November 13th, 2022, trip number 1 that the suspect makes is at 2:44 a.m. He starts traveling towards 1122 King Road. At 2:47, his phone stops reporting to the network, okay? At 3:26, he's traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive and Steiner Avenue, and he passes the house 3 times. At 4:04 a.m., he enters the area for the 4th time, and he has an unsuccessful attempt to park. He does a 3-point turn, and then he goes back to the house. And then the homicides happen. After that, at 4:20 a.m., he departs at high speed. So that would be what I call trip number 1, okay? Because he actually takes a lot of trips, and that's what I started realizing reading through that PCA, which is the probable cause affidavit. I'm just going to call it PCA going forward now. Wow. I'm like, this guy drove a lot. It's not just like, okay, and then no, he drove a lot. So trip number 2, at 4:48 a.m., his phone was back on the network. And then between 4:50 and 5:26 a.m., he travels south towards Genesee, Idaho, then west to Uniontown, and then north back up to Pullman, Washington. And we're going to fly that whole route. Okay, and you know I love pens. Thank you, Elise. At 5:25 a.m., 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and the WSU campus picked up this Elantra. At 5:30 a.m., he's approximately there, back at his apartment. And at 9 a.m., so he's there from 5:30, right? At 9 a.m., he starts to go back towards 1122 King Road. Between 9:12 and 9:21, he's at the King Road residence. Okay, so he's there for 9 minutes, and then he goes back to his apartment, arriving back at 9:32. So we've got trip 1 before the murders. We've got trip 2 here right afterwards. Long drive, you're going to see it. And then we've got another trip that he does on the same day. Yes, he drove a lot in his mom's white Elantra. So the third trip of the day, which would be the second, it would actually be the third, the third trip even after the murders, oh my goodness, is at 12:36 p.m., the Elantra passes Kate's Cup of Coffee, Kate's Cup of Joe Coffee, and this address is 810 Port Drive, Clarkston. Interestingly enough, 808 Port Drive, Clarkston is actually a medical center where they have express or emergency medical care. And some have speculated, what if he went there? What if he went there, to attend to any injuries? He thought maybe he's very clever going so far south. I'm not sure. Anyway, that is the address, 810 Port Drive, Clarkston. At 12:46, the Elantra is seen going past the Albertsons grocery store, and he actually goes into this grocery store between 12:49 and 1:04 p.m. Okay, now he's on surveillance cameras. They've got this footage. Of course, the public doesn't have this. Close to the vest, keeping it for the case, and that's important. So anything that gets leaked now, take with a grain of salt, of course, or don't trust it at all, or just think about... They don't just want an arrest, they want a conviction. So certain things need to be sent straight to the FBI if it's credible tips and leads. Fury is so spoiled. Thank you so much. All right. So this is just layer number 1. If you think I'm going fast, don't worry. I've got another whole video right after this to show you. I just want you to get an overview. And then we're going to go another layer. And then we're going to go a third layer. Okay. So then from 1:04 p.m. to 5:32 p.m., there's actually a time gap where it's not accounted for exactly where he is. Remember, the probable cause affidavit is not going to tell us everything. That's what's amazing about this PCA. There's a lot of detail, but there's a lot we don't know. That's just the bare minimum for probable cause for the arrest of Bryan C. Kohberger. Thank you so much, Rob. 112K sub. Damn, thank you so much. You are the best, and Brian is a dumbass. Okay. Then, from 5:32 to 5:36 p.m., the phone is on the network. Now, the PCA... be aware, it says Johnson, Idaho, and I'm going to explain this in the video right after this. But locals are saying it's more plausible that it's Johnson, Washington. There's 2 Johnsons, okay? So we will look at all of that. For 4 minutes, it's pinging in Johnson. And then from 5:36 to 8:30 p.m., it stops reporting to the network. And that's where that search warrant ends. They don't know, well, I'm sure they know, but they could only get from November 12th to the 13th at that time. So surely we don't know what else happened beyond there, except that they did say they do not believe that he was back in Moscow after the 14th. They say on the 14th, his phone picked up on the networks of Moscow, but they don't believe he was in Moscow, Idaho. And it also says that they do not believe he ever went back to Moscow, Idaho after that time. All right. So we got that. Yes, someone says, I wonder if he was picking up... the Glera. Okay, hello. The Glera says, I wonder if he was picking up supplies to get rid of evidence. I wonder too, right? What was he buying things to help get rid of evidence? Whether, I don't know what that would be, burning stuff, or... I don't know what else to think of. Was he buying things to help get rid of evidence, or what was he doing? Making an alibi? We just don't know. Also, other points to remember is that on November 18th, he changed his license plate to Washington plates. November 29th, law enforcement already knew about the 2015 Hyundai white Elantra. As in knew, they identified this one, the plates and everything. December 13th, he was captured by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. So we'll look at that as well. December 15th, there were 2 body cams with his dad. The stops that we looked at before. If you missed that, go check out the Idaho playlist I made for you. And on December 16th, surveillance showed the Elantra in Pennsylvania. Yes, if you're on Patreon or a member, yes, you'll know that we've been, especially on Patreon, we discuss things like that. So yes, I did see it. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, so someone's saying no sound. Can you all hear me properly? I hope so. So after that, after all of this that I'm going to show you now with the Maptime, I'm going to show you some other screenshots like this, and we're going to work through some other things. But right now, let us first play our Maptime song. Okay, wait for it. Here we go. Okay, so let's add this here. Make it nice and big for you. Like that. And let's play it. Okay, so we are looking at November 13th, 2022. And we're starting this journey at 2:44 a.m. at the Steptoe Apartments. That would be these apartments over here in Pullman, Washington, near the WSU campus. This is where Bryan Kohberger lived. So he starts making his way towards 1122 King Road, and that is at 2:44 a.m. So let me just zoom out so that you can see that very nicely like this. So let's use the pen, okay? And from his apartment, he starts making his way to 1122 King Road at 2:44 a.m. At 2:47, his phone stops reporting to the network. So he must have been probably around here when his phone stops reporting to the network, right? Okay, so he drives along here with his phone either in flight mode or off or something like that. And then he starts heading into this area. Now, the thing is that they say at 3:26 p.m., he was traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Road. So if we look at that, what he was really doing was driving all around this area. Here you can see Steiner Avenue because they also talk about Steiner Avenue. So here is Indian Hills Road, okay? So he drove into the area, crossing the state line here. There's the University of Idaho, okay? This is close to where he was pulled over in August. I think that was August 21st. Okay, so he's going into this area, somewhere along here. We don't know the exact path he took here, but probably along here and going around here, all right? So he's driving around there for quite some time because he started his journey at 2:44, which means he should have been there, you know, at the house at 1122 King Road at around, within 15 minutes or so, 3 a.m. So he's driving all around the area, doing multiple loops, going past the house 3 times. The 4th time that he entered was at 4:04 a.m. The 4th time, what he does is, they say, he goes to the area. He enters the area like this. He goes into here. Now, be aware that this King and Queen Road, it gets confusing sometimes. As you know, this is 1122 King Road. This is the house where all the victims were, okay? 1122 King Road. But you can see, you know, this is like Queen Road here. So some people get confused with that. And the probable cause affidavit also seems to here and there confuse this road and this road. But just know that he literally went in here, okay? This would be the 4th time entering the area. So he goes in here, and they say that he tries to turn around. Now, they said it was around the 500 block of Queen Road, which is this apartment block here. So I'm not too sure if he tried to like turn around here rather, or if he went all the way in here and tried to turn around. But either way, then he heads back this way again. Okay, and when he's doing that, so now he's back in the area and cameras are picking him up. When he's doing that, he does a 3-point turn. So wherever he turns around here, he struggles to park. That's what they say. So he goes this way and does a 3-point turn. So imagine it like 1, 2, 3, and goes back here. And then he goes back towards the house. Now, we don't know exactly where he parked that car. And based on everything we know, we don't know if he would be that brazen to park right here. The most logical place to park would, of course, be to go around the back and park around the back here somewhere, right? Okay. So that was at 4:04 a.m. Enters the area for the 4th time. Unsuccessful attempts to park, a 3-point turn, and then back to the house. Now, we've got all the other accounts from the probable cause affidavit of what DM hears, the dog barking, all that kind of stuff. The thing is that cameras caught this Elantra departing at high speed at 4:20 a.m. So departing at high speed, and I'll show you photos. We've got everything, of course, on the presentation for you. But wherever he's coming from, he's departing at high speed out of here, right? And you know what he does? Departs at high speed 4:20, okay? At 4:48, his phone is back on the network. Now, what he does is he goes out here. Now, he's going at high speed, right? So he goes out here at high speed, okay? He's driving through the area that he's done many loops around already. Driving out, okay? Probably out this way because they said Conestoga Drive going out. Now, I initially thought he went like home, but he did not. What he did, according to what they said, was here. He drove this way and got onto this highway. And let's have a look at where he went then. So if we zoom out again, you can see the Moscow Police Department is right here, by the way. In case you guys didn't ever notice that, it's right here. Here's that Arboretum that we looked at before as well. Here's the Moscow Police Department. So he avoided driving past the Moscow Police Department. He did this little cut here through here and then started making his way south. Now, this guy drives far. And remember, I think sunrise, I have to check the time exactly, but it would have been still pretty dark, of course, at that time, because it's 4:20 a.m. So this guy's driving all the way down south on Highway 95. If you remember correctly, they did ask for video canvassing in this area and also including Highway 95. So he did actually go on Highway 95, but he didn't just like do a loop and go home. Remember, home's up here. Oh, no. He went all the way down south towards Genesee. That's what they say. Okay, you guys, I hope you're following along. Okay, welcome. If you're only joining now, we're looking at the map time from Bryan Kohberger driving from 112 to King Road, where he went afterwards. Okay, so don't worry, everyone. If I'm on screen, it confuses people because my mouth isn't moving. So I'm muting myself. So sorry, yes, I was muted there a second ago. I'm muting myself and just enjoy the video. Okay. And then what Mr. Grizzly helped me confirm as well is look at the map they provided on the probable cause affidavit to match exactly where they're saying, he would have cut across to go back northward. And it seems like this is the route that we've mapped here, which matches what the probable cause affidavit map is, going south, then somewhere along here, like this, Cluss Road, cutting across. Now look at this. He probably really thought no one will see him. Now, if you live in this area and you have any cameras, please look at them for November 13th, especially between, let's say, 4:20 a.m. and even up to the evening. And we'll go over that in a moment. But he cut across this Cluss Road here. Look at all these, like the farmlands here. Very rural area. I'm sure it's beautiful to drive through here, but damn, even in the dark, this guy's driving through here, crossing the state line right here, Wolf Road, and then making his way upward again. Now, just remember this Johnson area here, because later he does another trip. And on the probable cause affidavit, they talk about Johnson, Idaho. Now, Johnson, Idaho this is Johnson, Washington. Johnson, Idaho is much further east. We can look at it on another map just now. I just want to show you that just keep this in mind. And that will make more sense to me. So it might be an error on the PCA, but this would make more sense to me for the later trip. This first trip is right after the homicides, okay? He goes here, cuts across here, goes up here like this, okay? And then cuts across like this. Then remember Busby and going up past the Walmart here. And then the cameras pick him up from 5:25 a.m. He's back in this area, and there's 5 cameras picking him up as he's going back to his apartment. I don't think he was too worried about that because, he thinks that he's avoided all surveillance all along the way, which is why if there's anyone in that area that lives there and they see this and you have cameras, oh man, please check them, because you don't know, it could really help the case. It could be vital evidence to confirm these travels as well, even though they've got the Elantra just leaving here and entering here. They've got the phone tracking and all that kind of stuff. So at 5:30 a.m. approximately, he's back at his apartment. Now, you know what he does at 9 a.m.? At 9 a.m., this guy, so he gets home at 5:30 a.m., right? At 9 a.m., what he does is travel back to King Road, okay? And he hangs out there from 9:12 until 9:21 for 9 minutes. Now, remember that neighbor's account of the front door being wide open? That was around 8:45, was it not? It makes me wonder. I just don't know why that would be. But the point is, he's hanging out there, and I don't know if he's gone back there because he realized, oh, crap, the knife sheath, or if he's going there to observe, is there, like, what commotion is there, Anyway, he goes there from 9:12 to 9:21, and then he goes back to his apartment, arriving back at his apartment around 9:32 is what the probable cause affidavit says. Okay, then, so 9:32, keep that in mind. Okay, I hope you're taking notes and things and that you're following along. So then 3 hours later, at 12:36 p.m., you know what he does? At 12:36 p.m. So let's go to this other map. Okay, so basically what happens is he goes from his apartment and drives south towards Clarkston. And around this Kate's Cup of Joe area, his Elantra is picked up. Okay? The thing is, if you look at this Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand, you know what else there is? A medical center. So I don't know if you went to the medical center or if you just drove past here. That we don't know because they're not going to tell us everything on the probable cause affidavit, right? So that is at 12:36 p.m. And this drive would take about 46 minutes. So let's call it an hour. So if he leaves at around 11:30, which means he's home for about 2 hours, and then he starts making the drive down to Kate's Cup of Joe or past here, right? Then he goes to the Albertsons grocery store, which is right here. And they say at 12:49 to 1:04 p.m., he's in this grocery store, allegedly wearing surgical gloves, and we don't know what items he bought. So there will be surveillance footage of this, which I'm sure they'll keep very close to the vest, of course, for the case, for the trial and everything. And then there's from 1:04 p.m. to 5:32 p.m. There's a time gap. They don't tell us what goes on at that, after the grocery store, basically. But at 5:32 p.m. to 5:36, for 4 minutes, the phone is back on the network, and the PCA says in Johnson, Idaho. So now if I type in here, Johnson, Idaho, you can see that's very freaking far eastward. And it almost makes no sense. And it's actually pretty shocking to think of. But yet, if you look at the time it takes to get there, it actually makes sense for how long the phone was not on network. So from 1:04 to 5:32, yeah, that makes sense. However, a lot of people have emailed me that are locals and said, this is not very plausible. Although the PCA says Johnson, Idaho. Okay, so just keep that in mind. This could have happened according to the probable cause affidavit. But a lot of locals have emailed me to say the most plausible explanation would be this Johnson WA, this one right here. Okay, so if we look at that, and if we were to drag this map like that, how he traveled the first time, right? Then you can see, okay, his phone probably did, yeah, ping around here, but for 4 minutes. So I'm not sure if he just wanted to check something, if he put his phone back on for a minute, or if he thought, okay, now it's quickly safe. I just want to, I don't know what, but it could be here. Now, if it is here in this area, Johnson, Washington, it still leaves a big time gap. Here's that Uniontown as well. It leaves a big time gap between 1 o'clock and 5:32 p.m. They also say from 5:36 to 8:30 p.m., so that's another 3 hours, the phone stops reporting to the network. So his phone was really only on for 4 minutes, and either here or in Johnson, Idaho. Okay? Either way, it was on for 4 minutes, and that's it. So before that, there's a gap of 4 hours. And after that, there's another gap of 3 hours. So who knows what that guy was doing during that time? Of course, we could speculate. The plausible thing would be getting rid of evidence. Every item of clothing, one sock here, one sock there, a shirt there, a jacket there, a shoe there, another shoe there, the knife. He could have gotten rid of that in so many places, you know? So, and then we don't know after that what happens, because those search warrants and cell phone records and things were only from November 12th to 13th. So we don't know what he does after that, or what exactly time he gets back to these step-toe apartments of his. That we're not sure of. They did also say on the PCA that on November 14th, it seems like his phone reported to a Moscow network, but they do not believe that he was in Moscow on that day. I'm not sure why that is, or how they know that. Of course, they would have the evidence. I'm just saying, for me personally, I'm not too sure why it would be on the networks, but not that he's not at all in the area. So that depends, but who knows what he did beyond then. All we do know is that on November 18th, he changed the license plate to Washington plates. On November 29th, law enforcement already knew about the 2015 Hyundai Elantra. And then on December 13th, he was captured, okay, on a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. So let's have a look at that quickly. I mean, damn, what's this bro doing there? you know, and let's go to Albrightsville, because I don't know exactly when he started that journey with his dad. I mean, it could have gone like that. Maybe that's what they did. I know that he was caught on that surveillance, the body cam. Remember the 2 body cam? That was on December 15th. And I believe that was in Indiana, right? December 15th. So it does make sense that he could have been here on the 13th, right? 2 days before. Then he was caught in Indiana on body cam with 2 stops. And then on December 16th, he was in Pennsylvania. So that's what we know. Okay, everyone. Let me bring myself back on screen. I just want to address 2 things. Firstly, for everyone asking, how do I know that he traveled that way? Go to the probable cause affidavit, look at the maps, download the pictures, lighten them up, match them to a map, which Mr. Grizzly and I spent many hours yesterday doing, and you can match the route exactly that they think he traveled based on cell phone pings. Okay, so there's that. And the second thing I want to address is the leaked audio. Just be careful with that and look at the source. And it's already been debunked if you haven't seen that. I've done a whole write-up and shared the screenshots and everything of that on Patreon. So if you want to see where I'm at, Twitter is a great place, but Patreon is another great place where we share things, you know, my research and everything that I'm doing. So I just, in my opinion, whether it's real or not, I wouldn't play it on this channel. I think that's a next level rubbernecking, in my opinion. And also, I just don't believe it because of where they say it came from. So apparently people did an experiment to see what would the sound really be like from 50 yards away on a Ring door camera. Then they shared that to the internet. Then someone took it. Then it was on TikTok. And now it's spilled on over to YouTube. And I was like, oh my word, it's leaked audio of the actual murders. And it's just horrendous. It's terribly disturbing. So I just want to clear that up, because if you're like, how do you know he traveled there? What? Just look at the maps from the probable cause affidavit and where all the cameras picked him up and all of that. And you could do the map time too. Okay, now, welcome, Mr. Grizzly.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, for us, it's evening. For them, mostly it's afternoon or morning.
Yes, very true.
Yes, I'm normally like, oh, morning, evening, everyone. So thank you all for being here with us. Firstly, if you're just here now, Mr. Grizzly is my husband, and you guys named him that. So he even calls himself that here. You see, Mr. Grizzly. His name is Raphael. He's got a channel called Sakura Aviation Mods. You can share that link if you want to. And what Mr. Grizzly did for us here is actually film the route that I just showed you on my pre-recorded map time. So we looked at the presentation, okay? Then we looked at the map time, and now we're going to fly it. The one thing before we do that, if you don't mind, Mr. Grizzly, just hang in for 1 second, right here.
Sure, no problem.
I just quickly want to show them this. Because, yes, you guys, this is, remember the forensic team and everything? They went there to take pictures of those tire marks. So this guy exited the scene at such high speed at 4:20 a.m. that I think he left these tire marks. So you can see it here. We will discuss some more of this afterwards, and I'll show you some more interesting photos and snippets, little things. But for now, I've asked Mr. Grizzly if he can be here to narrate with us, to narrate this that he filmed for us. I'm going to make it full screen like this, so that's nice. I hope we're not in the way, right? Let me just see if I take myself off quickly. Hold on. No, we'll still be in the way. Anyway, the point is,
that's fine.
No problem. I'll leave us here in the corner. I just hope it doesn't interfere with the map. That's what I mean. And so this is the flight. Okay, so tell us where this is from. This was the second video that you sent me.
Yes. Okay. So this is from an airfield called Fountains Airport, just about a mile southeast of the King residence. It's the closest airport to the residence in Moscow. So we'll be taking off, and some of this flight took a very long time, so we have increased the time factor so that it's not too long. So you will see it. You'll see the video speed up and thereafter slow down again once we're over the King residence.
Yes, thank you for telling them that. I forgot. Buckle up, everyone. They think I'm a crazy driver. on my map time. You think I'm a crazy driver? Some of this is sped up. So yes, and we are in a cubby. We're in a Cub aircraft, so we might as well call it a bear cubby. We're in a bear cubby, everyone. Okay. So here we go. And feel free to talk over it if you want, Mr. Grizzly.
All right, thank you so much. So we'll be starting a left turn, crossing over Highway 95. And now we are flying towards the King residence. So at this point now we are at 1 times speed. So normal time factor, and there you can actually see.
I'm just going to pause it. So these are the apartment blocks of the neighbors, and this would be the house, right? I don't know if you can see my mouse.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, this is the house. 1122 King Road is this one right here, guys. I hope you can see my cursor as well. The apartment blocks where the neighbors stay. And so Mr. Grizzly is just flying over there now. So what this route is that trip that we're going to do, that he did from 1122 King Road all the way south on that Highway 95, and then westward, and then back up north.
Yes, correct. So here we're just doing a quick flyover. Right, and as we're coming around now, we will be following Walenta Drive.
I'm just going to pause one more time just to show them as well. On the left-hand side, right here above Mr. Grizzly, is a map in case you're confused about where we're going. So remember, they said he exited, they believe, via Walenta Drive, and that Palouse River Drive, and that Conestoga Drive, and then heading east, and then eventually southward. So that's what we did before. If you're confused, you could just watch the map time I did before again. But the map time right above Mr. Grizzly's head there should also help you. Okay, so sorry, I'm going to keep playing it.
So right now you can see that small white car driving up. So that is Walenta Drive.
This.
That's it.
And just so you guys know, because the first time you guys saw Mr. Grizzly do a flight for us, you were like, he even added the white Elantra? He actually didn't. It's just on the simulator. It's part of like this, the software that you can have these add-ons. You didn't on purpose add a white car, right?
Yes, well, that is simply just part of the traffic features of the simulator. Yes. So it's auto-generated. It has nothing to do with the case.
Yes. So this is Walenta Drive, what you're saying here.
Yes, correct.
Where the car is driving. Okay, behind the house. And again, you guys, here's the apartment blocks, and this is the house over here, 1122 King Road. Okay.
So you'll see below the aircraft, we are still flying over Walenta Drive, and at this point now, we will be heading south to over Sunnyside Avenue. So I'm just kind of looping around. It's maybe a little bit difficult to see, but the road the aircraft is over right now, literally. That is the Conestoga Street.
Okay, let me pause it, then we can just show them as well. And let me quickly address this one from Kristen. You say every time I mention the timeline, I get shut down saying it's only an estimate. However, the DoorDash at 4 a.m. and the car being spotted, the car was spotted at 4:04 a.m. and leaving at 4:20. But yes, he did it in 16 minutes or so from the car arriving in the area to the car leaving. So yeah, that actually We discussed it in another live stream as well. It could feel really long for him as well. It could feel like freaking hours, which we don't care what it feels like for him. I'm just saying. Yes, very quick. Okay, so again, look at the map here if you're confused. Okay, we're going down. You can see this West Palouse River Drive as well. And then he's going to turn that way and then head south on the Highway 95. So let's continue there.
So there we go. If you just keep an eye on the map, we are literally now starting to fly over.
Yes.
The Palouse River Drive.
And then go that way.
Yes. And from this point forward, we are just increasing the time factor. Otherwise, it would have simply taken too long.
Mm-hmm. Because he drove so far.
Yes. So this is all along Highway 95. And more or less this entire route, based on Google Maps, would have been just over an hour. And that also matches the actual time frame. So it's a really far way down.
Yeah, and very rural area.
There's not much out there, that's for sure. Lots of farmland.
I just quickly want to pause it. Someone's saying a little bit, some of you might be confused, but just look at the map right here where my cursor is now. We're going south now on this Highway 95, and then remember it cuts across west eventually, and then goes back up, okay, to Pullman, Washington. So if you are confused, hope you'll go back and watch the map time I did for you just before this so that you can really see it. That's why I did it in layers like that. This would be layer number 3, deep dive, okay? So I hope you enjoy the flight.
Right, in a moment we will be turning right over Class Road.
And that's based on the probable cause affidavit map that they said he likely cut through here.
Yeah, so this was the road closest to those pings. So now we are overflying Borgen Road. And again, at this point, we lose some accuracy compared to those cell phone pings. But again, this actual route follows those pings the closest. Now we're overflying Springer Road. And at this point now, we cross over from Idaho to Washington State.
Yes. And just to clarify, guys, we're saying, Mr. Grizzly saying pings, but it's based on the probable cause affidavit map. And they said that's the route that they predicted took based on his cell phone activity. So pings, yes. We don't know how spotty the signal is here or there, you know, in this area, but we're looking at that map and comparing those things.
So now we're cutting across, flying west all the way to Highway 195.
Which takes us back towards his apartment.
Exactly. So now we're overflying Colton. And this would have also been the road that he used that same day to go all the way south to Clarkstown, I believe, or something like that.
Sorry, yes, I was just reading something. Clarkston,
no
yes.
problem. Yes, exactly.
Sorry if it makes you guys dizzy. It's just sped up. Otherwise, we'll be flying forever. Erica, we don't know that, right? We don't know why he took this route. That's what I guess is so interesting. When I started plotting this, I didn't ever think it would be such a drive. Like right after speeding away at 4:20 a.m. and doing this entire drive for over an hour, going back to his apartment, then from his apartment, going back to 1122 King Road, back to his house. From there, then he went south again later to Clarkston. So yes, it's quite something, isn't it, to see as well. That's why I like these aerial views, because we can actually see like how far he drove. I mean, right after the murders and for that day, November 13th, 2022. So just remember, this is also, I think this is filmed in, it's not filmed in real time, right? There's broad daylight, and he left at 4:20 a.m. Sunrise was around 6:38 a.m. So it would have actually been dark, but of course we would see nothing if it was dark. So just remember that as well. It would be him driving through these rural areas pretty much in the dark, except for the later time, 12:36, when he drives down to Clarkston. Okay, so sorry, carrying on here. Exactly, Lida.
So
and we're
we
going
are
to slow
flying
down
up
again.
north.
Yes.
So once we get closer to Pullman, we will slow down again. This is simply just to save some time. So the road we're currently flying over is also an estimation. I think it makes sense based on the documentation we have. So in front of us now, we can actually see Pullman.
Yes. Back to normal speed.
So we are approaching the area where the first camera picked him up. So now we're flying over any stadium way. And there are multiple landmarks that will help us.
Yes, so if you remember from the probable cause affidavit, and if you don't worry. Firstly, all members and patrons, there's a whole deep dive video for you that we did last night, right? So you could see that we went through the whole probable cause affidavit again. So if you want to do that with me, that's available, right? Then on my Idaho playlist, we've gone over the probable cause affidavit probably 3 times now with a fine-tooth comb. And here they listed all the areas along this road where the cameras picked up the Elantra. So that's where we're driving over now, back towards his apartment. Yes.
So overflying Martin Stadium. Now at this point he would have turned right onto any valley road, which you can see right below us there.
This.
Yes, that's it.
Yes, okay.
Now the first area we will be flying over was a mistake on my side. So this group of buildings is the Grove Apartments Pullman. So that was a mistake on my side. Then I eventually realized it, but it's actually the area. There we go.
This, yeah.
Yes.
His apartment.
That entire area. So at this point I realize, and now we are flying over the Steptoe Apartments.
Okay. I'm trying to see where. Is it this?
Yep.
right?
That's that.
Okay.
And you can see that big apartment block building sticking out. So that would be one of them. But as you said, we don't know the exact, the exact location of that apartment. So what we're flying over now, it could be anywhere there. If you look on Google Maps or Bing Maps, yeah, that entire area here, he could have been staying anywhere there.
Yes, I think they said his apartment number was 201, but we're not sure exactly which one it is. So we're just looking at the whole apartment blocks there, the Steptoe apartments. And hello to the docket. Nice to see you. Okay.
There we go. So at this point, I'm literally just flying over, and I was focusing on that white building. So the tallest white building you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's where he stayed. So I would say from my side, that's the video. It still goes on a few minutes. I'm just circling around.
Okay. And there's that other video that you have though as well, right?
Yes. Well, it's just simply a flight from Pullman, from the Steptoe Apartments area, all the way back to Moscow, to the 1122 King Road house.
Okay.
And that's really
We've got 2 minutes left here of this one, and then maybe we can play that one.
Yes, that's that is absolutely fine.
Thank you, Christy, and that's a hard no. If you're on Patreon or if you're a member, you know. Thank you so much for the sticker.
So that's it. We can actually stop the video here because now I just start flying towards the airport to land. So that's it.
Okay. So let me quickly find that other video. So I'm going to close this one. And you uploaded it where the other one was?
Yes. And I've actually, I have deleted the old one. So I've just replaced it.
Yeah. Okay. And it's the smaller file, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's add it to the stream like this. And let's just see if I can add that music here as well. Just hold on 1 second, you guys. And then we can play this. Okay, so let's start this. So this is from Brian Kohberger's apartment at the Steptoe Apartments in Pullman, Washington, 21122 King Road.
Yes. So we are taking off just to the north of Steptoe Apartments. We have some open field here, and you will have to excuse my helicopter flying. It was actually quite tricky since Microsoft Flight Simulator have added these helicopters recently.
Mm-hmm. Nice and calm. This was nice and slow and calm. But I think you speeded this one up a bit too, right? Or not?
No, this is the original. So
okay.
It's only 10 minutes long, but now we're going to overfly the Steptoe Apartments. Right below us, you can see the actual apartment building disappearing just below us now.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
And now we're flying that route reverse.
So this is what he would have done at the 2:44 a.m. when he left his house. Well, he went there 12 times before, you guys, but driving is the most direct route from his apartments to 1122 King Road. Yes. And again, if you guys are confused, you can see the map right here above Mr. Grizzly as well. We'll do this, and then I'll show you guys the rest of my presentation, and then we can wrap it up. So thank you for being here. I hope you guys are enjoying this. And if you like Mr. Grizzly's flights, He does his own flights on his own channel. That's not true crime. Sakura Aviation. So mods, if you can share that link, that would be amazing. Otherwise, I'll share it afterwards. I'll pin it for you guys in the comments as well. So you can go subscribe over there and see lots more flights. Okay, let me just get my bearings here as well. Okay, so he's going, yes. This would be also on that road where the cameras picked him up, right?
Yes, that's correct.
But now going the other direction towards, you know, towards the main road there and towards 112 King Road.
Yes, that's it. So we're about to turn left onto 270, and then a 270 will take us right into the heart of Moscow.
Mm-hmm. There's a huge debate of how everyone pronounces it. Moscow is I've been saying, because people say Moscow, Moscow, all of that. We could say it differently here, guys. Rach, thank you so much.
Right, so at this point now we are on road 270.
So it's State Road 270, you guys, the most direct route between his apartment, between Pullman, Washington, and Moscow, Idaho. So he would have driven this a lot, I'm sure, especially if he was there at least 12 times based on his cell phone records outside the house.
Yes, so on the other video we were speeding this up, but
yes, it was a little too fast. I'm like, oh my word, we're all gonna get nauseous. So this is the original one again. I can go forward a bit, you guys, but I just want to, I'm sure you're enjoying this as much as I am. You put a 1 in the chat if you love it, okay? Put a 2 in the chat if you don't love it, and a 3 if you're, I don't know, undecided. I know there's lots of people here, sorry mods. Okay, but basically we're just gonna, it's not too long this video, and I'll go forward a little bit just now, but it's just to see the route that he would have driven so many times as well in going there to stalk the house from everything we know. So scary. Lots of
so
ones.
It's extremely interesting. Oh, sorry for speaking.
Oh no, carry on.
No, it's very interesting that he then took that huge detour.
Yes.
So, I mean, we can speculate what his motive was, but nevertheless, this is the fastest way to actually get there. And you can see on the map that we are approaching the state border of Washington State, and then the moment we step over into Idaho, we've got Moscow.
Mm-hmm. One of the super sticker buyers earlier, Matt, was saying that that big route that he did could have also changed the tire trade a bit. That's also a good thought. And yes, you guys, of course, he could have also been getting rid of evidence or building some kind of alibi timeline. We just don't know. But yeah, what a drive he took. Thank you, Rob.
Yes, and cutting across from east to west from Highway 95, that area would not have any lights. So
yes.
You can just imagine it at night, simply two headlights, and well,
and who knows what he's listening to, you guys. We've got his Spotify playlist. I think it's his. You know, these days there's so many of these Instagram accounts that people claim are his, and all sorts of, you know, the online forums and everything, which we can also go over at some point. But yeah, I'll show you the Spotify playlist after this as well. Okay, so now we're crossing over the state line, right?
Yes, and in front we can already see Moscow.
Yes.
It's actually really close. And these are small university towns. So I'm sure that it really hit those communities quite hard.
Yes.
So we are flying over Moscow in a moment. You can see all the buildings in front of us, and I will hopefully zoom in the map a bit.
Yes, Jane, that's scary. Yes, Brown Eye, I think I do. I've been sent it multiple times, so I'm going to show you guys what I've been sent. Geraldine says, just join. Is that Mr. Grizzly? Yes, Mr. Grizzly's here with us today.
Yes, good evening, everyone.
And afternoon and morning.
And afternoon and morning. It's a habit.
Yes, I had to get out of it too, don't worry. I'm like evening already, late, and they're like morning. Most of the audience is in the United States. Mostly you guys are on the East Coast, but lots on the West Coast as well. So still morning for you guys. Depending. West Coast morning. East Coast just gone afternoon. Thank you for being here with us, no matter where you're from. Wherever you are in the world. Okay. So I must pay attention now. Where are we going? Oh, then there's this Troy Road. Okay. That was close to that gas station, huh? We saw a car speeding by at 3:45 a.m., but then it wasn't the Elantra, I assume, unless it was the Elantra that was doing the rounds, because he went around and around and around, you guys. So it could have actually been. It could have actually. Interesting. Okay, sorry, I'll keep quiet. Carry on there. Mr. Grizzly?
Yes. Apologies.
Yes. You wanted to say something? Oh, they wanted us to show them the frat house as well. We mustn't forget.
So we've got the frat house right in front of us. We are over Taylor Avenue. Yes. And we are now approaching over that field. Okay, so let me pause it quickly. So this would be that band field, you guys. Let me quickly turn this down. That would be band field where that incident happened with the body cam and everything with the kids that were checking if they were underage drinking and all that. And the Sigma Chi frat house is what we're referring to, where it was Ethan's frat house. That's over here. So let me just continue playing it, then you can see. There we go. And flying over the field. Yes, and we're about to cross over Taylor Avenue again. And then we have... Here's the house. Yes. So keep in mind that the actual house is in that spot, but the textures, the object is of course not the same as the real house. Yes. But in any case, the objects are placed at the correct locations. Yes. So this one looks pretty accurate, but yeah, this is not quite the same, but it's the correct location, you guys, exactly as Mr. Grizzly says. So at this point, it was a little bit difficult to control the movement. Not quite used to it yet. In any case, so now we go in for the landing, and that actually concludes our flight. So we've actually flown the entire route, all the way around, and ending where we actually started, when we flew over King Residence. So that is it. Yep, that's it, guys. Wonderful. Well, Mr. Grizzly, are you going to put the full-length videos on your channel? Someone was asking earlier. Well, no, I do not want to mix true crime and Sakura Aviation. However, I will give you the videos, and and you can, I guess, post them on Patreon or membership. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will do that, you guys. So I'll combine them all because they were a bit separated now. I'll put the map time that I did for you guys, Mr. Grizzly's first video, and I'll put this before it so it makes sense timeline-wise. So this one and then the next one all together in one, and I'll upload it for all the Grizzly members and patrons. So if you're on Patreon, you're going to get it.
If you're on YouTube membership, you get it. It's $1 to join for a whole month, you guys. So you can see it there. And then it won't be interrupted. I know some people are like, no, but we like the interruptions, but some don't. It's nice to just watch it through at normal speed as well, except for that second one. That one has to be sped up a bit. Otherwise, it'll be hours worth of flying. Yes. Okay. Well, Mr. Grizzly, thank you so much for joining us for the flight today. I'm going to continue now with my presentation and everything. And then I'll see you afterwards.
Yes, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me on. And yes, have a nice day further. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. See you just now. Okay, so yeah, you guys can go to Sakura Aviation if you want to subscribe and see Mr. Grizzly do ASMR, calm, minimal talking flights. It's very nice as well, just to relax or put in the background or things like that. That's what he does it for. I'm not saying that because, you know, like there's no talking. He does it so that you can relax, put it on the background and take a flight somewhere. All right, so I hope that you guys enjoyed those flights. Now let's continue with the presentation, which would be here. Okay. So let's take a deep breath. That's all I needed to just quickly. Okay, very nice. And now these are the tire marks, right? That they were looking at on the road. I don't know if these are the ones that his car made, but they were certainly looking at these marks on the road as well. So let's continue to see what else I've got here for you. Yes. This was interesting because remember they talked about a mail-related situation. So I don't know if this had anything to do with it or what that paper was or if they were just collecting it just because. You know? So I'm just showing you some photos that I just found interesting again for if you wanted to reflect back on it like I do. I just look at some photos from the past again and say, whoa, like what were they looking at and what did they find? Especially now, the more we know, you know? So let's continue on there. It's so quiet now without the songs. I'm like, what? Now it's just me. Okay. So here you can see as well the sliding door. And as we know from DM's account of events in the probable cause affidavit, a man wearing all black with a mask over his mouth walked towards her and walked out of the sliding door. So yes, again, if you want a deep dive on the probable cause affidavit and that whole timeline and what the surviving roommate DM saw, we don't have an account from BF. Then yes, yesterday we had a 2.5-hour stream for members and patrons where I could just really not worry about time and the replay watchers and everything. Just do it like slowly and everything. So if you want that, that is available. Just go to the members only playlist to check that out. All right. So here you could see the evidence tape and everything and how they're being very, very careful with their forensic booties on, right? Looking at every detail. I'm not too sure what they're looking at here, but they're just looking at everything. So we're looking too now. We're going, what were they? And you can see where they taped everything around as well. I mostly just wanted to show you the tire marks, but then when I got started on finding those photos, I found all of these again as well. So yes. And the door dash, as we know, it could be this Jack in the Box. Could have been something else as well. This could have been from another night. But the door dash was at 4 o'clock in the morning that Xana had received. Thank you so much, mods. I know there's lots of people here. Busy stream. So if you rewatch this video, you can just pause it if you want to see these pictures and just take notes of things if you wanted to. But yeah, I just wanted to see again if there's anything after the probable cause affidavit that we can learn from seeing this again and just knowing, oh, okay, so they did say that he entered, well, he exited out the sliding door. So scary. Okay, and then what I have here is what we went over yesterday. I think it was yesterday when John Kelly joined us as well. And so if you want to check this out, it was the probable cause affidavit chronological timeline that we went over completely in detail as well. I just want to see, there was definitely a screenshot or something I wanted to share with you earlier. Channy's saying, what do you make of his sister being on the crime scene with his lawyer? How is that allowed? I don't know. I'm not 100% certain that's her, but it does look like her. And I don't know really what to make of that. And if you guys are wondering what I'm saying, I think it's on a New York Post. I don't have it with me right now to show you, but it looks like Bryan Kohberger's sister's on the scene filming things that with the defense team. So that's what people are wondering. What is she doing there? What is she doing there? Okay, so let's see what we got here, because I put this on here for a reason. Let's see. Okay. Someone posted this, again, it's social media, take it with a grain of salt. He was admitted to Brandywine, an eating disorder clinic, now called Tower Behavioral Health in Reading, Pennsylvania. When I was there, I was 13 at the time. This was back in 2014. I'm not exactly sure about his diagnoses. I don't remember why he was there. I've been reading up about him on heroin addiction and being bullied, etc. Was probably an eating disorder as well as addiction. He was sickly thin. You can't read people in rehab, but you know there's issues. I'm so haunted and glad he's locked up. No doubt he is a monster and did it. I mean, damn, innocent or proven guilty, so we can't say things like that. But this is from social media, and I just wanted to share that with you because there are these accounts coming out of people that knew him in high school or like this at a eating disorder clinic and things like that, you know, which does seem to align with even what his aunt said and things like that, being so radical and saying, oh, no, all pots, new pots and pans and everything. So the pattern seems to be there from all the accounts from, you know, people who knew him that's are coming forward with information. An anonymous source that knew him in high school has actually shared with me on Twitter that as a teenager, he was working at a lake where he was gutting and filleting fish. Ooh, I was like, damn, like, could I share that? Because even that just adds to trying to understand, you know, his mindset, his makeup, what is going on here, right? Just trying our best to understand who is this person that has been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. So that was interesting as well. I've got a few things to show you as well right after this. This is also a map that was shared on Reddit, I believe, and it's from a news. I haven't found the actual article, but people are all sending me this picture, which goes over the map time that we also just did. So I did it in bullet points, then a map time, then Mr. Grizzly flew it for us. So you could see the route that was flown and the route that they shared on the probable cause affidavit. And then here someone said, didn't one of the housemates make the call? Did they think the kids were alive, just unconscious? That's what the caller stated. And this person said, the call was made from Dylan's phone, so DM's phone, but a male friend, also a fraternity brother, is the one who spoke to 911. Dylan actually fainted outside in the front yard, so he took the phone. He had not been in the house yet, so that is why the initial 911 call stated that a person had passed out. At that time, he didn't know what had happened in the house. Again, that's from social media, screenshots being shared all over Twitter today. There's so much coming out all the time. And you really just have to, in many of these cases, just take it with a grain of salt because things are coming out more and more and more, like crazier and crazier things. Like, look at this, look over here, look over there. So we do not need more drama in the story. You know what I mean? The story is terrible enough. This case is horrendous. Okay, and we've gone through this already. And then there's the chronological timeline as well. So this is what we went over. I'm just telling you in case you missed it. It's at the tail end of when John Kelly was on the show. He was on for about an hour, and then I went through this whole probable cause affidavit timeline. This is the 1112 King Road residence, and right next to the house that's 50 yards away, that's the camera that would have picked up some of the audio that they're talking about in the probable cause affidavit. Okay. And as we know where the victims were found, we actually went over that, a deep dive yesterday. So hold on one second. Just hold on. We went on a deep dive here via this. I'll pin this again in the comments. We've gone over it once before, but it made a lot of sense yesterday for our members and patrons on his stream. To go over the probable cause affidavit, read it while going through the house. So the officers entered through this front door. Those were the ones that responded at 4 p.m. So they didn't at first respond at 4 p.m. It's those that are part of the probable cause affidavit, Brett Payne and another one, Blaker, I believe, right? That went in the front door like this. And then they went upstairs. This would be the lounge area. And this is very comprehensive that this person has put together. Very well done as well, because you can click on everything and go these places. They went upstairs, and then they went down this hall, and they found Xana and Ethan in Xana's room. So in this room here, bedroom 2B, confirmed to be Xana Kernodle's bedroom. And if you look at the photos that they've got here, you can actually see, and sorry if this is graphic, maybe needs a trigger warning, even though you're all here for true crime, I understand. But remember this, what appears to be blood running down the wall. This is actually such a great gallery because they show you directionally exactly where that would be. So here you can see it. That's how it would be. That's how the bed was, based on, photos from the house and social media and everything. Putting it all together, that's how the orientation of the room was most likely to be. Just remember, the furniture shown in here is not an exact replica of the furniture in the house. There was a big debate we had yesterday. Was it, a single bed in Maddie's room or just one bed, based on the wording and the probable cause affidavit? So, yes. Yeah, man, that's just horrible to see, right? Just how the orientation of the room would be and where the substance is running down the wall here. Like that. Okay, for all of you that are joining membership now, make sure you check out the members only playlist. Okay, make sure you check out the members only playlist. Then you can actually see, we went through the step-by-step. It was quite a long stream, going over the probable cause affidavit from the beginning and going over, pairing it with this. But I know that most of you guys, what's in that PCA. We've gone over it before. And so I'm just showing you quickly so we can keep it efficient here. So they went there, those officers, and then they went back into the living area, to the living room. Okay. Here they've got a video linked as well, which would be the TikTok, where all the roommates were pretending to be each other. It was like a skit. Let's see this photo taken in the living room. So there you go. Okay. And then they went to the other rooms like this. So what we were looking at is also speculating that he probably came through the sliding door, right? Through the kitchen. And it seems like, based on everything we read in that probable cause affidavit, that he went upstairs first. It's very odd, but it seems like, based on the timeline of events, even though it's a little blurry, like it could change. The PCA is just the minimum of what's required to arrest the suspect. There's obviously so much more information that we don't know. So always consider that, even with DM's account of things, they put the bare minimum in there, right? So if you look, this would be DM's room. If you can use DM as well instead of the full name, that would be the right thing to do. I know that we all know by now who's who, but right, that's what they would like us to do as well to protect the case. So the door, you have to look at how the door opens, right? It doesn't open the other way. It opens this way. So if DM was saying she saw a man walking towards her, it wouldn't be like down these stairs, because that makes no sense. Like walking towards her where? So it has to be that he was walking towards her from this side, which would be from Xana and Ethan's room. And based on the timeline and the dog barking and the DoorDash and the TikTok activity and all that, it seems like he went upstairs first, then came downstairs, then went to Xana and Ethan's room, then came this way and walked towards her. So past her, and then she would be either peeping out here or seeing, I don't know. We don't even know. He probably didn't see her, but we don't know that. And just walking straight out that sliding door. I'm so glad you got your Grizzly notebook. Yes, and that's as well. Thank you, Harry, for reminding me. Knife sheath upstairs, likely the beginning. Because it would be quite odd to carry that upstairs and leave it like that. Unless that's some weird form of staging for him. We still don't know. I don't know if this guy's like a dumbass or if he's a mastermind. I'm undecided. Like, is he gonna, be like, you can't prove that I was there based on touch DNA alone. You can't, yes, my car was there. Yes, I stalked the house. Yeah, my phone was there, but I didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm consulting with some legal experts behind the scenes to try to get a consensus of, could this guy be exonerated? Like, how strong is this case? To me, it seems pretty strong when you read the PCA and everything, and the law enforcement seems very confident and all that. But there's, it's if there's going to be a trial, which there will be, of course. I just mean if he doesn't accept a plea deal or something, if they offer it and it goes to trial, yeah, it's going to be so interesting. You just heard me say a South African yo. We say yo when something's quite hectic. Please tell Mr. G he deserves mad respect for the flights. I will tell him. Thank you so much. Okay, so for such a time as this is, can he throw off his pings with a VPN? I have a VPN on my phone that allows me to pick up different states and even different countries. I would think someone who knows what they are doing could manipulate that. Oh, if even possible. I do wonder about that actually too. Very interesting. I need to look into that. If you guys remember from the PCA, the probable cause affidavit, he's got undergrad studies in psychology and cloud-based forensics. And he offered to intern for the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022 and helped them with data collection and things like that, which is very interesting. That then his phone is being tracked everywhere in his car, like in this case. Wow. Thank you for the snacks for Fury. Yes, and Joe says it was dark. MB didn't see her. MB. Maybe he didn't see her. Okay, Joe says, nope, VPN wouldn't work. Because I think it's still based on the network towers, right? But thank you. Thank you for helping with that. Okay. And then, okay, so the officers went in the front door, went to that second floor, went to Xana's room, found Xana on the floor, and Ethan also in the room. Then they came through here, went up to the third floor. So you go like this, and you go around up to the third floor. Once you get here, you can see, sorry, let's just turn us around. Don't get dizzy now. Bathroom, Maddie's room, and right over here would be Kaylee's room, and Murphy was found in Kaylee's room when the officers responded to the scene. The 911 call at 11:58 a.m., so around noonish, officers responded to the scene and they found Murphy in Kaylee's room here. And they found Kaylee and Maddie in Maddie's room. And on the PCA, it does say they found the two victims in the single bed, but it's probably not a single-sized bed. It's probably like in the only bed in the room. You know what I mean? So we went over that as well yesterday as well. Thank you so much. Okay. We won't be too much longer. I've just got a few more things to show you. I'm trying to keep it very nice and efficient for you. So yes, then they went here. Confirmed as victim, Madison Mogen's bedroom. This would be the knife sheath found, and it looks like this. The USMC insignia and everything. They say, I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had K-bar USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath. Josh says, do we know if the room doors were locked? We don't know. They don't specify that. Would be interesting. There's going to be so much that still would come out at the trial. Lula says, I bet he wore his security guard uniform. That's why he said, let me help you. Ooh, that's scary. Yeah, maybe. Good point. Good point. Could have. Okay, so that's where they went then. So that would be the walkthrough of the house here that we were looking at as well. This is confirmed as Kaylee Goncalves' bedroom, and Murphy was found in here. All right, then what I wanted to show you, let's quickly go back here. Oh yes, I wanted to show you this little clip. Thank you to the person who sent this to me at the right clipping part. This is the channel Surviving the Survivor. Excellent channel, I might add. They've got really great guests. Oh my word. Like the guest lineup on this channel. Damn. So let's listen to what this lady says about a trauma response, because people are so hard on DM. So I just want to go over this again. We've gone over it quite a bit before, but just listen to this.
Absolutely heartbreaking. And it doesn't shock me with the way people are now, especially online, that she's catching grief for this, but she absolutely should not be. All of her actions, she talks, there's a quote in there where she said she was in a frozen shock phase. And I think people only think of, when faced with fear, of fight or flight. And we have to remember there are 6 different mammalian defense mechanisms that, as very lizard brain human beings, when we are looking out for our best interest or to not die in a moment, that we might go to any one of these, and it's not really within our control. This is evolution has not been able to let us move past going into some of these defense mechanisms. You have avoidance of threats, which is just avoiding everything all the time. You have attentive immobility, which is freeze. You have withdrawal, which is flight. You have aggressive defense, which is fight. You have appeasement, which is where you try to cater to the threat. And then tonic immobility, where you simulate being dead. And if you think about in our caveman days, if we were faced with a lion that wanted to kill and eat us, fight, flight, or freeze You're probably not going to outrun a lion. You're probably not going to win a fight with a lion. But if you hold really still behind a tree, they might pass you by. And this is exactly the type of mode that her body went into at this time. And then it was, okay, lock the door, you know, secure myself away from the threat as much as possible. You know, I think we have to remember there's a lot of physiology happening in the body when you're faced with a threat like this. And without training, again, you can't really choose to just override how you think and how you act. Or we can't sit here and say how we would think or act in that moment, because you just don't know unless you've been there or unless you've trained for it over and over again. Even law enforcement agencies don't train to the extent that they actually should for these moments. So, you know, I think that on top of just how we react to trauma or a situation like this is based on the situation, but also us individually. What are we bringing to the table? What past trauma do we have? What is our sort of normal, natural resiliency like? What are our past experiences like? So, you know, this young lady was acting exactly like she needed to in the moment and probably saved her own life.
I agree. And I think we just jump.
Yes, and so sorry to cut that man off now, but I'm going to link this episode at the timestamp where we're talking about this at 1 hour 21 so that you can go and watch this whole episode yourself. It's fascinating. Really, really good episode. I just wanted to play that part for you so that we can see that. Okay, I mustn't forget also to show you the Spotify playlist. This is allegedly Bryan Kohberger's Spotify playlist. And this one. So they're studying gym and whatever this one is called. Yes, and as I say, the reason I don't love sharing it, you know why? People there's already fans developing about this guy, which is quite disturbing to see. And lots of people are following his Spotify now. You know, I know that people would pin it in their minds or follow it so they can refer back to it again. But I'm seeing a trend of like, oh yes, follow, and the Instagram accounts and everything. So we have looked at it before, but this one is what is mostly being analyzed online because we've got Symphony of Destruction and Moth into Flame, Murder One, Night Stalkers, The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, Will Be Back, and Tornado of Souls. I don't read too much into it because, you know, it's like, it depends. It depends where his mind was at when he listened to this. I mean, remember Chris Watts and what he asked for, the lyrics to a song. I can't remember what song was it again, but that, oh my word, that is interesting given that. But we don't know, was he listening to this playlist on that long drive that he did, the maps we just looked at and everything? Maybe. This was made in September. It looks like date added September 17, 2022. So he actually could have. So it's interesting to look at, but also to be taken with a grain of salt, right? Then you guys are asking me if I'm going to address this visual snow forum. It's a lot to read through. I've put the link on Patreon on a post this morning where I was also talking about the leaked audio on there. And so you can go check that out there. I will link it at the timestamp too if you do want to go and read through this. This is, if you didn't know what it is, allegedly, I don't know how they've linked it, you know, to prove that this is Bryan Kohberger posting on this forum, but they say it's like a health forum. They're talking about visual snow, which I've looked at, like how to describe it to you guys. Visual snow is a form of visual hallucination that is characterized by the perception of small, bilateral, simultaneous, diffuse, mobile, asynchronous dots, usually throughout the entire visual field, but it can be partial and it is present in all conditions of illumination, even with eyes closed. So here he's on this forum. Apparently, I can see the picture could look like him, but I don't know. I can't say that this is definitely him. I have no idea. But this is what people are talking about, and him posting there a whole bunch about how he suffers from this and just describing his feelings, not feeling any emotion. It sounds like depression 101, really, you know. It sounds like he was quite depressed and all that. So if you want to read through this, I will link this as well, you know, at the timestamp, so you can go and read through this if you want. And it is also linked on Patreon. If you're on there, you can find it right now. So yes, we will do that. We'll do that. So, okay, the other thing, there's just two more things, I think. Hold on. Remember this. I just wanted to go over this again because this was it was uploaded on November 15th. And the probable cause affidavit says that they do not believe that Bryan Kohberger was back in this area after November 14th. But you know how it goes. Sometimes they would film this. I don't know if this was live, so this could have been on November 15th. But if this was on November 14th, it's just interesting to still consider, could this have been him? Remember when we went over this? Did he return to the scene? So here at the back here, I'll take my branding off so you can see nicely. Just hold on 1 second. Like, I've slowed it down as well so that you could see it there at the back. I don't know if this could or couldn't be him. I mean, did he maybe just have his phone off again? That we don't know. That we don't know. But let's just play this one more time. And I'm going to link this as well so you can go watch it. There you go. Right here at the back is what everyone was looking at, right? This vehicle there. It looks similar to an Elantra, but it's interesting to look at again to now confirm, well, is it? Was it? I don't know. I'm going to go back another second here. So it's from around 3:02. There it goes. Could it have been him? Well, the way that he was driving, sure, it could be. But they did say they don't think he was back in the area after November 14th. I mean, if that is him, damn, there would be then even more evidence, which is why we are going to pin this in the comment section if we ever need to refer to it again. Just in case. Okay. So there's that. And then the last thing, I think there's one or two more things. It was this one where they say accused Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger was a brilliant student, DeSales professor claims. Now, this is not Professor Ramsland. It's another professor that actually recommended him. Only 2 people were recommended out of that class to the PhD program. So it says, a former university professor of Bryan Kohberger said the accused killer was one of my best students ever, and that the then master's candidate was one of only 2 students that she has recommended to a PhD program. One of 2 to the whole program, right? Michelle Bulger, 33, an associate professor at DeSales University in Pennsylvania, told the Daily Mail that Kohberger, who was arrested in the murders of 4 University of Idaho students, was a great writer and brilliant student. In my 10 years of teaching, I've only recommended 2 students to a PhD program, and he was one of them. So she says, in my 10 years, not just of the class, in my 10 years of teaching, I've only recommended 2 students to a PhD program, and he was one of them. He was one of my best students ever. Everyone's in shock over this, she told the outlet, adding that he was always perfectly professional with her. The associate professor at the private Catholic University in Center Valley, Pennsylvania, said she was stunned that her former student had been charged in the shocking crime. I'm shocked and I think that means it's like shit, I think, at what he's been accused of. I don't believe it, but I get it. Bulger said, this news is upsetting. I haven't slept at all since hearing about Bryan. Bulger told the news outlet that she taught Kohberger in an online class last year and helped him with his master's thesis at DeSales. I never saw him in person. I couldn't tell you how tall he was or how much he weighed. My only interaction with him was via email and Zoom. I didn't know anything about him, whether he was married, had a girlfriend, etc., Bulger told the Daily Mail. He seemed normal to me, but then again, I only knew him from teaching him online. I didn't know anything personal about him. I believe he worked full-time like most of our graduate students do. And that was as that like casual security that he said. Okay. I was wondering, where did he work again? And then yesterday, all the members reminded me, yeah, it's a security guard. Oh, yes, that. Bulger said she advised Kohberger with his thesis, which involved questioning people about their thoughts and feelings during the commission of a crime. I was one of the professors who helped Bryan with his proposal on his graduate thesis, his capstone project. He did put out a routine questionnaire for his thesis. It looks weird, I understand from the public view, but in criminology, it's normal. It's a criminology theory called script theory. It is a normal theory on how and why criminals commit their crime, etc., she said. After graduating from DeSales last year, Kohberger enrolled as a doctoral student at Washington State University in Pullman, just 15 miles from Moscow. The 28-year-old was arrested Friday in his family home, so that was on December 30th, right? Yes. In Pennsylvania, and will soon be extradited to Idaho to face 4 counts of first-degree murder, and we've already looked at those updates as well. Okay. Welcome to everyone. If you are joining from Popcorn Planet and Nerd Report community, welcome. Welcome to any content creators. If I miss seeing you, I'm so sorry about that. I just really want to see if I can find that, hold on, defense, something like that. Also, yeah, remember there's that gag order. So just keep that in mind as well. If lots of new leak things come out, just know that there is a gag order. So people shouldn't be talking. People shouldn't be releasing things. Keep that in mind, especially in Idaho.
We got brand new court documents revealed. Bryan Kohberger.
I just want to see where this picture is because you guys are saying about the sister being at the crime scene. I think it's this. I think it's this that people are referring to. And it does. I think this is his sister. Yep. They say defense attorney Ann Taylor joins investigators during a visit to the King Road residence or King Road crime scene on January 3rd, 2023. The house was the scene of a quadruple homicide on November 13th. The victims were students at the University of Idaho. Taylor will be defending Bryan Kohberger, who's charged with the murder. So I don't know why if this is his sister, oh boy, I went too close. If this is his sister, I don't know why she's there documenting it. A lot of people are emailing me saying, why is she allowed to be there? I don't know. I do not know the legal details of that. But it's interesting. I think that was the one that starred in that horror movie as well. Again, no shade at her, nothing thrown at her. I'm just noting what you guys are noting. Oh, she seems to be there filming things. Yeah, this one. Okay. So there's that. And then, before I go, as always, what do? You know what I do before I go, right? Waffle. Yes, waffle would be the answer. But I also look at Twitter to see if there's anything before I go that I'm missing out on that's like huge. Like what is happening in this case? So there's also this one. And then I'm going to shut up. This one says, legal experts warn the case against Idaho suspect Bryan Kohberger isn't open and shut. Legal experts have warned that the case against the alleged Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger isn't a slam dunk, despite authorities discovering his DNA at the scene. Kohberger, 28, was arrested on December 30th after weeks of painstaking investigation by police in Moscow, Idaho, and the FBI. His DNA was discovered on the button of a knife sheath, well, they said button snap, right, of a knife sheath, which was left at the scene of the crime next to the bodies of Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogen. Ex-federal prosecutor Nyama Ramani believes that those defending Kohberger will not present an insanity defense because of his history as a scholar. And I don't think Idaho has the insanity defense either, right? I know, right, Van? He's like, she better not be filming a documentary already. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gene. I appreciate that. I love a debunk. If that's already been debunked and his sister was in Pennsylvania when this picture was taken, brilliant. He's got two sisters. So I don't know if that is or isn't her. I just like, man, my inbox is flooded with all sorts of things. So thank you. Thank you, Gene. Any other debunks in the house? We do love a debunk. Okay. The trial lawyer said the murder case against Bryan Kohberger is not a slam dunk. Kohberger's attorney will most likely argue that he didn't do it rather than present an insanity defense. He was accomplished enough as a scholar to become a PhD student and showed no indication of mental illness before the stabbing, so there would be little justification for his defense to argue that he's incompetent to stand trial. I do believe the judge can find him incompetent to stand trial, but you can't in Idaho go with the insanity defense as far as I know. Marissa, I also wondered this, and it does seem like it. From everything I've researched, it does seem like it's the first time he's moved away from home. And he moved there around June. He also got his new phone number in June. The phone number that they've been tracking. He got that phone. Oh, man, I'm trying to get to my damn notes here. Hold on. That phone he got, I think it was June 23rd, as far as I remember. Sorry for this little break here. I believe it was. Can't find it in my damn thing here. Hold on. I think it was June 23rd when he got that phone. And he also moved there to start the PhD and everything. So it could be. That's it. Andrew says, we can't tell how strong it is. Too early, lots of evidence being processed. Yes. And even Chief James Fry said that there's still lots to process as well. Here they say the authorities have Kohberger's DNA on the knife sheath, but DNA evidence can be transferred from one person to another onto an object. So that evidence is not open and shut for a conviction. Prosecutors don't have the murder weapon. They have a pretty vague description of the suspect from an eyewitness, and they lack a clear-cut motive. So that's interesting to consider as well. Now, before I go, one more thing. Let's just quickly look at the latest here. The New York Post says Dylan Mortensen was scared to death seeing accused Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger. That we know as well from the probable cause affidavit. Are they just saying it like that? Yeah, they're saying the whole name. Okay. The family of murder victim Kaylee Goncalves is defending DM. Okay, so let's look at that. I forgot to say that as well. That was nice. So, trust the family, right? The family of Idaho murder victim Kaylee Goncalves are defending the surviving roommate who claims she saw the murderer but failed to call police. Dylan, so DM, who survived along with fellow roommate BF while her 4 friends were knifed to death on November 13th, did not call police but still gave information about the suspect to police. Attorney Shannon Gray told Fox News. Gray, who is representing the Goncalves family, said that she was likely scared to death when she encountered the man and insisted that she was still a victim in this case. The fact that she was able to give some additional identification, I think it's beneficial in this case, Gray said. She was able to give kind of the type and build and what the suspect looked like a little bit. Bushy eyebrows, things along those lines. The Goncalveses are the latest to defend her after the roommate of a woman who suffered a brutal 1992 attack said she also had a delayed response during a similar scenario. Yes. They say Goncalves, Madison Mogen, both 21. Xana and her boyfriend Ethan were all stabbed to death in their bed at a house in Moscow, Idaho, while DM and BF were the only survivors. Suspect Bryan Kohberger faces the death penalty if he is convicted of the quadruple murders, also something to consider. This week, a probable cause affidavit revealed that DM had heard several scuffles throughout the night, that her roommates were murdered and opened her door. Mortensen told police that she saw a suspect dressed all in black with a mask covering his face. So it's not a ski mask necessarily. It seems like just like a Rona type mask. And heard one of her housemates say, "There's someone here." She stated she opened her door for the 3rd time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. She heard the suspect say, "It's okay. I'm here to help you," or "I'm going to help you," as the person crept through the house committing the quadruple killings. The affidavit says the DM describes the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. She's not revealed why she failed to call the authorities earlier, but some are arguing that she may have been frozen by fear. Now, Ilana Zabel, 50, said that she can relate, having also had a delayed response as she pieced together the horrific 1992 attack of her sorority. Okay. Here's a picture of her, Ilana Zabel. Zabel lived in a house with 5 sorority sisters off campus from the University of Buffalo and said she can relate to the anguish that the surviving roommates are feeling. She said that she too had a delayed response and felt guilty that she went to sleep despite hearing, sorry, I'm missing a few things, despite hearing muffled sounds. Hold on one second. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yes, we've gone over that. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. So she said she had a delayed response and felt guilty that she went to sleep despite hearing muffled, heavy breathing in her roommate's room and only called the cops the next day. Someone was stalking us and broke in one night while we were out partying and drinking late, she said. They brutally beat and essayed my housemate. I found her 6 hours later and she nearly died. I didn't see any blood at first, even though the room was covered in it, she said. See, even that, they'll be like, how could you not see it? The room was covered in it. You know what I mean? The internet police. Zabel said, having been through a similar situation, living with the guilt of not calling 911 sooner haunts her. As we said, these things would, right? I've lived with the guilt of not calling 911 sooner my entire life. I never saw the attacker or saw signs of the break-in until I found my housemate the next morning, she said. I can imagine the guilt this surviving roommate in Idaho must be feeling. I too called 911 reporting an unconscious person because I didn't understand the extent of what was happening. She went on to say, when you're living in an environment like college, where having strangers in your house becomes normal, it's hard to fathom a tragedy like this. You don't want to believe it to be true. Being so young, I can imagine she went into shock. It's a true defense mechanism for survival. And here you can see pictures. They're removing, the furniture from the house and things like that. But they did say, there's another article I saw earlier that says they're preserving the crime scene until February. Yes. Goncalves, Mogen, Kernodle, and Chapin's Wow, the way they word this. Blood-soaked bodies, damn. There's some graphic language right there. Were found by cops just before noon after the surviving roommates, the two who survived, awoke around 11 a.m. to find their friends dead. Man. The savage killing shocked Moscow, a small college town in Idaho with a population of just 26,000 that had not seen a murder since 2015. So, the rest we know. Okay. So, I'm going to call it a day there. I don't want to go on for too long. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have a wonderful Sunday afternoon, evening, or if you're maybe in Australia and it's already like Monday morning for you, good morning. We have an international audience here, which is so nice. As you guys know, I'm from South Africa, living in the Netherlands. My name is Xana Kernodle. True crime author. I've written 4 books, self-published. Okay, those are available on Amazon. I also have a range of notebooks, which you guys seem to love, on Amazon as well, that I designed myself. And I just really, like bringing you all my presentations, the Maptime and everything. So thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the work that I do. Thank you to everyone who's on Patreon, everyone who's a member as well, being a subscriber, liking the video, sharing the video and all that. For everyone, reminder, if you join today as a member or a patron, Patreon is easy. You can just see everything that's published there. There's documents over there as well, links and things. There's a lot more resources there. But if you remember, like Kika just joined, check out the members only playlist and go and have a look at the stream we did last night. It was last night for me, so yesterday. Because we did a deep dive on the probable cause affidavit that you might enjoy as well. And you could see the thought process, or like a think tank, right? We do these think tanks where we all have our input, and then, you guys ask questions and things that I can put together in my presentation like we did today. Eat at the After says, at least BK wore Vans and not Converse. You know what the problem is? I've had people email me the bottom of Vans and the bottom of Converse, and both of them have diamond shapes. They did say in the PCA, like a Vans shoe, but it could be Converse. Sorry to break it to you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Let me just check that I'm not missing something. Wait 1 second. Okay. I think we're good. Thank you, Kathleen. Member stream was excellent last night. Okay, mods, thank you very much. I know there were a lot of people here today as well on a Sunday. And now let's play the outro. Take a deep breath. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye, everyone.